Hey guys, coming as for Girl Meets World, Season 2, Episode 17, Girl Meets Rileytown. And this was an episode that I really wasn't looking forward to because reading the description, it very much seemed like Girl Meets Flaws 2.0. It kind of seemed like they were doing a very similar episode and that this wasn't going to be able to really separate itself from that. And I have to say that this episode was one of the best Girl Meets World has ever done, honestly. It was not one of the best episodes of the season only because of a few problems I had with it. But if you guys ever thought the Girl Meets World was a kid show, this episode should show that this is not a kid show. This episode is one of the most realistic episodes a Girl Meets World has ever done and portrayed a very tough subject that really showed why this episode was necessary. And they did a good job of separating this episode from Girl Meets Flaws. Girl Meets Flaws was more about how everyone has something about them that's something, that's flawed. While this episode was more about just being true to yourself and being who you are. And that's something I thought was really great. And let's just get into this episode, which started off very weird, I have to say. My only really complaint on this episode is the beginning. I thought the beginning was like, it was weird. It didn't feel like a regular Girl Meets World episode. I like the beginning. Riley basically is in bed. She's saying she had this made-up sickness, basically, something called like the foo-foo disease, I think it was called. And she's not getting out of bed for whatever reason. Maya's trying to get her out because she thinks, she's just playing around because that's the sort of thing that Riley would do. And yeah, I agree, that is something that Riley would probably do. But for whatever reason, she's just not getting out of bed. And Maya does not know why she's not getting out of bed. And she tells Riley that it's time to get out of Rileytown. And Riley gets extremely defensive over this. She gets really upset. She tells Maya that she's a bully, and Maya even starts singing the national anthem of Rileytown that her and Riley came up with, which I thought was pretty funny. But for whatever reason, Riley is not in the mood. She's telling her, look, you're bullying me, I don't appreciate it, and this is not the Riley that we know. This is a much more hurt Riley. This is a, Riley that's really hurt. This is a Riley that is just, she's not herself, and you can tell right away that something is very, very wrong here, and you don't know what it is, and that was very realistic. The way they portrayed that, I thought was really good. What was really stupid to me was the ice cream thing. I'm gonna get into this. Basically, Corey tells the story of Hamilton and Burr, which I think is a very fascinating story. If you guys don't know the story, it's all about these two friends that had a conflict and they challenged each other to a duel. One of them died, and Burr ended up, winning, and Hamilton died. But basically what ended up happening with this is that, Corey can see that Riley is not actively participating like she usually does. She's not perky like she usually is. She's not happy. There's something going on with her, and we don't know what it is. I did not like the thing with, I didn't like the whole Lucas and Zay arguing with Farkle thing. I thought that was kind of stupid. Who we do see Zay in this episode again, which was great. I love Zay as a character. I really love how they're trying to utilize him better. And this is probably the episode where they utilized him the best, I have to say. Definitely in this episode. But basically, Corey basically says that he knows there's something wrong with Riley and he doesn't know what it is, and basically Riley decides to challenge Maya to an ice cream duel, and this was really stupid. I found this to be very unnecessary, because the episode, it felt like a weird tone switch, because before it felt like this was going to be a very dark episode, and then this made it very, very silly, and I really wasn't a fan of it. This was very much like the Disney Channel humor that people say Girl Meets World has, and I do agree this was very, very Disney Channel, and for a while I'm really worried that they're not going to tackle this very well, and I didn't think were tackling a subject very well, because you can tell something's going on, you just don't really know what it is, that's going on, and basically, it's just, things are not going well here, and Riley is getting very, very, the thing that I did like is seeing Riley aggressive on this fight, Maya doesn't want to hit Riley with the ice cream, she doesn't want to do that just because she feels it's a mean thing to do, and Riley hits Maya anyway. She does it, and she's very aggressive about it, and this is the moment where Maya can tell something's wrong. She doesn't know what it is, but something is just not right with Riley, and she can't figure out what it is. After this scene, this is when the episode becomes one of the best things Girl Meets World has ever done. After this scene. Right after this is when I'm like, okay, this is an amazing episode. because Farkle starts to realize something's going on Riley, and he starts to connect the dots of what happened to him last season with the turtlenecks and everything and how they told him he should be him. He's realizing that Riley is getting bullied. She's getting bullied, and there's someone that does not like her for her, and there's something going on with that. And it takes Lucas a little while to understand that, but I like seeing Lucas, in a much different kind of, we saw a different side of Lucas in this episode. He was much more defensive. He wanted to help out Riley the second he found something was going on with her, and I thought that was very well done. The game-changing scene, for me at least in this episode, was the window scene. I mean, this scene is Rowan Blanchard's best performance on this entire show, okay? I've said it throughout the whole season. She's been getting better and better. This was her best performance. I have never seen a portrayal of cyberbullying so real than I have on this particular scene. And again, I know this is just a show on Disney Channel. It's not. The marketing for this episode was so bad. The marketing was like, Riley has a secret. She's gonna tell them her secret. I thought the secret was gonna be how she realizes that she only saw Lucas as a brother. That's what I thought this was gonna be. But it wasn't that at all. It was something that was much more important than that, and I was very happy with that. Not that the whole Lucas thing isn't important, but I feel it's something we need to, develop a little bit more. They need to go into that a bit more and maybe spend some more time with that, and then maybe reveal it at the end of the season, which the end of the season is coming. The end of the season, I think, is going to be a 3-part, I'm pretty sure. But basically, what ends up happening here is Maya confronts Riley, and Riley is close to tears here. She tells Maya exactly what's been going on, that someone does not like her for who she is. She doesn't like her happy, perky side, and she just doesn't want to be in Rileytown, and she doesn't want people to think of her in Rileytown. It's in this incredible emotional scene. And Maya tells her that, they have a conflict, but the thing is that friends that have a conflict, it's worse for them. The thing that's worse for friends having a conflict is that they, at the end of the day, they'll have each other's back, they'll support each other. She's just trying to tell Riley that she shouldn't be mad at her for what she's doing. And this leads to, like I said, Rowan Blanchard's best performance. The scene that I love the most is when she got up and basically just started saying what the bully was saying to her. That they don't like her being in Rileytown, and that it's annoying, and that she's stupid, and that they don't like her high energy, and that if she doesn't stop, they're gonna kick her in the face and things like that. This was a very real representation, definitely. I mean, me personally, I've never really gotten cyberbullied. I have gotten catfished, I will admit that. I've gotten bullied, though, and I think this was a very real portrayal of cyberbullying. I like the way they handled it in this episode, because it's really broken Riley as a person. Riley is not Riley anymore because of this cyberbully, and you can see that Maya really wants to do something about it, but she realizes that it's going to take a lot more for them to do that. So that was a very real portrayal, and the way that Maya tried to help out Riley, I thought was very sweet, and I definitely really loved seeing that. Definitely that was something that was very good. And Lucas, Farkle, and Zay come in. I love that Zay didn't want to go through the window because he thought it was rude. That I thought was pretty funny. I like how, like I've said throughout the season, they've had some breaking the fourth wall references here and there, and that was definitely one of them. The way he's like, you know what, that's rude. I don't want to go through that. But he steals their food anyway. I thought that was pretty funny. But basically, Lucas tells Riley that he wants to go after this person, that he wants to help her out, and that Farkle feels bad for Riley as well, and that they're going to help her out through this, and I thought that was a very real scene. I definitely really love seeing that. But what really I think is the best scene in this episode is Corey's classroom scene, which is the best classroom scene we've ever had in this show. The scene with Corey in the classroom felt real. It felt like this was how this situation would occur and what the teacher would say if this were to happen. Because he tells Riley that everyone, he says that he knows there's something that's going on. He doesn't want anyone to tell. But he said that one of the biggest things about being bullied is being up and standing up and knowing when to tell someone that something's going on. That's something that I think is very important. The episode was not about just Riley being bullied. It was about her unable to tell someone and her being embarrassed about it. She didn't want to tell Maya because she felt embarrassed. She didn't want to tell anyone because she felt embarrassed. And that very much is true. When someone gets bullied for their flaws and someone gets bullied for who they are, they feel embarrassed about doing that. And I think that was very real the way they handled that here. When Corey basically says that there are a bunch of group of friends in there that will have each other's back no matter what, and that he's always there for them, that he's always there if they need someone to talk to. It just felt like a very real scene, and especially for this episode, really, really worked well overall. I was definitely a huge fan of the scene, and I love the way they handled that. That was definitely very, very well done. So basically, that happens, and they all go back to, when Topanga's, basically, they go back there, and basically, they're all talking about what's going on, and Riley tells them exactly what the bully said to her, and she's not upset, and one of the things I liked point blank is that they don't bring up who this bully is. We know that this is she, but we don't know who it is, and that's something I thought was very well handled, the way they did that. Also, I like that Corey said that bullying is worse now because you can get it. It's more easier to happen. And it's not just face to face. It's worse when you don't know who the person is. And I thought it was very well done. They did that because it kind of just went with the theme of this can happen to anyone, and that there's a bully out there, and that anyone can really get bullied. I thought that was a very good theme that they did, and it really worked very well for this episode. That was something I was definitely a huge fan of. So basically, Riley tells them the real reason she's really upset is because she, of course, is in Rileytown, but the biggest thing that happens is when the hallways, when no one's in the hallways, sometimes in the afternoon, she has an award ceremony for herself, and the bully was going to show this to the entire school, but what she decides to do is confront the bully. She confronts the bully and does the award ceremony in front of the bully, and we don't see who the bully is. It's all from Riley's point of view, which I thought was very well done the way they handled it. I definitely really love that. And it was very well handled. Definitely, I thought that was very, very well done. The way that, Riley said that this is who she is, that she twirls around, and that's just her personality. And her friends tell her as well that they love her for that, and that, while she can be weird, that's just who she is. That's a part of her personality. And, that goes very well with, I think, the way people talked about Riley in general. I thought that was definitely something I really liked. Definitely, I thought that was very well done, and I really, really enjoyed that, I have to say. Definitely. But the scene where she confronts the bully, it felt like she was talking to us. Like, it didn't feel like she was talking to a bully. It felt like she was talking to the audience. It felt like she was saying, look, if you bully someone, they twirl around, they might be weird, but that's just who they are, and you need to accept that, and it's something that they are, and that's just who they're gonna be. And it really represented, how that is with attacking someone from behind, with attacking someone as a cyberbully. It really represented that very well, and I definitely really enjoyed seeing that. I thought it was definitely a very great scene, and the way they did that, I absolutely love that, definitely. I thought it was very well done, and I thought the way the episode ended, with her just confronting everyone like that, and all her friends watching her being goofy and embracing her for who she was very, very well done. Really showed who Riley is as a person, that this is who Riley always will be. That's something that was very, very good, and the way it ended, I just thought was perfect. One of the best endings of Girl Meets World. One of the best, I would say one of the best episodes because of the first, 9 minutes. I can't really say that because the first 9 minutes just felt very, very off. But other than that, I thought this was definitely one of the strongest episodes of the season by far. Absolutely loved this episode for the most part. Something else I forgot to say about the classroom scene that I loved is that Corey did throw in some humorous references in there, but it felt organic. Like, he talks about how, oh, would you think your math teacher would do this for you? No, I'm going to do this for you. I'm here for you. And I definitely really love the way they did that. Just showing that everyone has that teacher that they can connect with that can be more than just a teacher for them. And that's something I thought was very well done, and I definitely really enjoyed that. And the episode overall was just fantastic. A very powerful message that hit home very, very well. Probably the most realistic interpretation of cyberbullying I've seen in a while. Definitely, I don't know if it's the most realistic ever, but it definitely is one of the most I've seen in a while, the most realistic I've seen in a while, especially that last scene. Some people said this episode felt like a one-act play. I could definitely see that. It very much felt that way. And that's something I think Girl Meets World does a very good job with. Is a lot of the episodes, they do kind of feel like they are one-act plays, and that's something they have done a very good job with. Next week's episode I'm really not looking forward to, though, because it's a Halloween episode again, and last year, if you remember, it worked to a degree, but there were just some parts of that episode that was really stupid, and we'll have to see. Maybe because season 2 has been so on fire and has been so much deeper and complex than season 1, maybe they'll be able to throw in some, messages in there, make it a little bit deeper than it is. Girl Meets World of Terror was, I think, a good episode, but it definitely was not one of the stronger episodes of last season, so I'm really not looking forward to the fact that they're doing it again. Maybe it'll work out this time, I'm not really sure, but let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I thought this was by far one of the most effective episodes of Girl Meets World we have ever had, and that's basically my review. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.